Mixed martial arts. Mixed martial arts. How do we like our martial arts? For the baddest mother flipping championship of the world!
You're gosh darn right we do, Mike Heck. That is exactly how we like our martial arts mixed. Because if our martial arts aren't being mixed, then we like it between two men in their mid to late 40s and or 50s who have never been professional fighters. We love that for boxing, but that is not what we are here to talk about today. Although I strongly suspect we will talk a lot about that as well. A whole host of stuff has happened in the last 36 hours, basically. Most of it, frankly, detracting from what we are here this week for, which is UFC 326 in Las Vegas, Nevada, and the BMF Championship between Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira 2. This is the rematch from a fight a million years ago that kind of ended up not being a fight. And we are here to talk about that, plus the rest of UFC 326 and whatever else y'all want to talk about, up to and including Tom Aspinall, Francis Ngannou, Dana White, Eddie Hearn, Luke Thomas, and anything in between. It has been a very action-packed filled last several hours. And so, to kick things off, to dive deep into all these various topics, and of course, to dive deep into UFC 326, my compatriot, not the man you've already heard, but the man you will be soon hearing much, much from, the king in the north, Alexander Kaley, AK. How are we feeling about this weekend, baby?
I only want to talk about UFC 326, Jed. I don't know what you're talking about. All this other stuff that's either not UFC or UFC tangential. This is a great card. This is a pay-per-view.
You couldn't even say that.
They don't have pay-per-views anymore, so this is but this is pay-per-view quality. This is a pay-per-view quality show with an illustrious title at the top. Some high-stakes rematches also on the main card. A highly anticipated lightweight bout as well that we had all been looking for some time, plus Raul Rosas Jr. So I'm very excited.
AK, I have an important question for you. Is somebody from the UFC standing off camera and threatening a family member? Because that's the kind of energy you were bringing with your sales pitch right there.
Jed, I'm just a man who loves MMA. And when I think MMA, I think UFC. And when I think UFC, I think UFC 326, Saturday night from T-Mobile Arena live, CBS, and also on Paramount Plus, free with your Paramount Plus subscription.
It's true. We are, in fact, also getting CBS. I believe, though I could be wrong, but I believe Dante Johnson and Cody Brundage are going to be the first UFC fighters fighting on big CBS, just like we all envisioned, as we all anticipated. That is what will lead into the rest of the UFC 326 coverage. As you can see behind me, AK, I have given this, I thought long and hard about it. It has achieved one Michelin star. I think if you're in Las Vegas, Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira are fighting, you should attend that because, I mean, this is, and we can talk about it. The statistics here are pretty substantial, and that's doing a lot of heavy lifting for this card. AK, you have discontinued your card scoring systems, so we won't ask you that, but I will ask you this. The other thing you are most known for, weigh-ins. You're a man who loves a weigh-in. How did our weigh-ins go this morning? Anything of note to kind of talk about at this point in time?
We lost a fight, Jed.
What? I did not know that and was certainly not setting you up to say that.
We lost a fight, Jed. All the fighters who showed up to the scale successfully weighed in, including one Mr. Gaston Bolaños, who was fighting on the early prelim portion of the card. However, he had already lost an opponent hitting this card. He was originally scheduled to fight Ju Sang Yu. Ju Sang Yu withdrew for undisclosed reasons, was replaced about a little over 2 weeks ago by Zhang Yang Li. And unfortunately, Zhang Yang Li had weight cutting issues. That's the official word from the UFC. Did not show up to the scale, so that bout was canceled. We are now down to 12 bouts and 24 fighters competing. Other than that, and no issues. Both the gentlemen in the main event use the 1 pound allowance because this is not a real title fight. Let's remember. And anyone else who had past weight misses, Rob Font, Bruno Ferreira, looking good. Bruno Ferreira especially. The man had been saying all the right things about slimming down a little bit. He's kind of a bulky dude. Slimming down a little bit. He looked actually really good on the scale and actually came in a pound under. He came in at 184. So good stuff all around, but mostly uneventful weigh-ins. And we are locked in now for UFC 326.
Sending a message, coming in a pound under. Way to go, Bruno Fajeda. I'm sorry for you, Gaston Bolaños. You have tried, but it does not matter. You will not be fighting. Maybe they will get you back soon. But frankly, love a 12-fight card. I don't love it as much as I love a 10-fight card, but I do love a 12-fight card. It will be, I think, really well set for us tomorrow as we enjoy some fisticuffs on a Saturday evening from Las Vegas. And let's talk about those, because I assume, let's be real. We can peel back the curtain. We can be honest. Probably going to spend most of our time talking about this main event. We'll do a little bit on some of the other stuff, aka other prelim stuff, other main card prelim stuff, because the prelims don't have a lot of interest, I don't think, for most. But at the end, as always, we will do a Q&A. So if you have questions about that, you can fire them in. I also suspect we're going to get questions about everything else that's going on that has kind of dominated the conversation over the last 36 hours. But AK, let's recenter, let's refocus. Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira. These two first fought in 2015, I believe I have that year correct off the top of my head. At featherweight, in a bout that was highly anticipated for very different reasons than it's anticipated now, and left us all deeply disappointed, something that both men have spoken about in the lead up to this fight. It basically ended 30 seconds in due to an apparent throat injury that always seemed weird and, frankly, haunted Charles Oliveira for a little bit there, as he had a reputation even into his strong lightweight run to the title. There was still, is Charles Oliveira built for this? Is he a bit of a quitter? And I think that was in fact exacerbated by just the weirdness of that first fight. And we go back and we look at that first fight. Neither man were who they are today. Both have gone on to become surefire future Hall of Famers for the promotion, champions, acclaimed, like all over the tops of the record books. Two of the most successful fighters from wins and loss standpoints in UFC history are matching up on Saturday. And so, AK, let's start big picture. What is your biggest question, concern, thing you want to find out as Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway step in the cage on Saturday?
Jed, my biggest question for you first is, where did the first fight happen? Do you remember?
If memory serves, Vancouver?
No. It is a city that I'm pretty sure they have only been once and never again.
I got nothing.
Glamorous Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Can you believe
I was like,
it?
I knew it was Canada because I'd been
Yes.
obviously been looking at this fight a lot, and I never would have come up with Saskatoon. So
I'm double checking. Did they ever? Yes, it was a one time, right up there with.
there's no chance they've been to Saskatoon again.
Moncton, the great Moncton, New Brunswick, and Quebec City. Shockingly, Quebec City only once. Well, because usually they go to Quebec. Of course, they go to Montreal. But yeah, Quebec City got a hit as well. But yes, those are 3 one-time Canadian spots. This rematch should be happening in Saskatoon. Probably the magnitude of it has outgrown that area, but that city. But that's fine. That's fine. I understand. Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena. Whoa, okay, fine. What a big deal. I don't know if I have a lot of questions for this fight because I've been kind of just wanting to enjoy it for what it is. You know, we're always talking about stakes going into a fight. What does this fight mean? What does this fight mean for their legacies? And I don't want to say that this fight should have a major impact on other guys' legacy. Their accomplishments are crazy. The championships they've won, the titles they've won, the bonuses they've won, the names on their resume is just absolutely incredible. Both guys are going to the Hall of Fame. Both guys are unquestionably 2 of the most beloved fighters of this era. Jed, I guess my question for you is, who do you have ranked higher on the all-time list? And will this fight, will the result of this fight affect that? Because you know, head to head, we usually, I think when we're talking about all-time great stuff, it shouldn't be you know, necessarily the most important criteria, right? Unless it's 2 fighters who clearly, like, their primes are, you know, running side by side, and I think like a Matt Hughes and a George St. Pierre type thing, right? It's like there's just no argument that Matt Hughes is greater than George St. Pierre for the accomplishments. George St. Pierre beat him twice, and so on and so forth. So there's times you can do that, but otherwise, when there's not quite an overlap, and yes, I know these 2 guys are of the same era, but clear, obviously different paths, right? Different weight classes and so on until now. So yes, that's my question for everyone really in the chat, and also for you, Jed. Who did you have ahead in the GOAT rankings now, and could that change at all depending who wins on Saturday?
I love this question because I was about to turn something similar towards you. So I'm going to give you my answer and then pivot it towards kind of where I was directing us, which is my answer is that Max Holloway is one of the 10 greatest fighters of all time. And Charles Oliveira is just not that. I think people underrate how great Max is because his peak years, most of his prime has coincided with Alexander Volkanovski, who I think is objectively a greater fighter than Max. Though I guess if Max does this for another 10 years, we can revisit the conversation, right? But like, because of that, you rarely think, oh, we have two all-timers concurrently. Like that's just across sports. It's, the head-to-head is, oh yeah, well, unless they get one after the other, you very rarely get like a Magic Johnson, Larry Bird situation. And especially with Volk winning 3 times, like Volk sort of assumed that. But you look at what he has accomplished, how long he has been accomplishing at the very heights of this sport, multiple title wins, the BMF title wins over elite guys. He has been in the pound for pound list for like 10 years or something insane. I think Max Holloway is one of the 10 best fighters of all time. I do not think that is the case for Charles Oliveira. I think Charles Oliveira is certainly in the 30 or 40 best fighters of all, like greatest fighters of all time. But he has more losses than Max, more bad losses than Max too, which is, he's just been stopped a lot, which also weighs a little heavy when you consider it. I think there's an argument that Charles isn't even in the top 5 lightweights of all time, though I think there's also an argument that he is in the top 5 lightweight consideration. And so that's just not, I think even looking at Charles's resume and recognizing it is very, very, very good first ballot Hall of Famer, I think there's a clear tier break between the two of them. But my question, AK, and a thing I have come to this week as I've thought more about this fight and what it means and legacy, because truthfully, I don't think a loss shouldn't affect either significantly. Again, they are to some extent playing with house money. Both will be inducted into the Hall of Fame almost instantaneously upon their retirements, and deservedly so. But as I've been considering this more and I hold Max Holloway in such esteem, I began to wonder, well, I wouldn't say either of them are in their total primes, but they're not far removed. They're still, top 5 guys in the world in their weight classes, right? What would a win for Charles Oliveira on Saturday mean? How might that change his legacy? And conversely, how might a loss change Max Holloway's legacy? I think if Max beats Charles, nothing really changes for me in those circumstances, right? I still think Charles is the same guy I've thought Charles was. Great guy, or all-time great, closer to 50 than he is 10. If Max beats Charles, it's just another accolade to stack onto an already incredible career. But if the inverse happens, if Charles kind of subverts my expectations and the expectations of odds makers, how does that affect how we view Max Holloway and how we view Charles Oliveira? Because I don't know the answer, AK. It is something I have been thinking about and will continue to think about. And if it happens, I'll have to reckon with, truly. But it's not nothing to beat Max Holloway ever. And even if it's up a weight class and in these circumstances, it'd be one of the best wins of Charles Oliveira's career. And I think on the other side of things, a tough loss for Holloway, who seems like he just will never lose a bunch, but now he started to lose a lot, right? Like now he'll have lost 2 of his past 3, and we have to sort of recontextualize how much longer he's got going. So if Charles wins, does this change things, AK? That's the simplified version of my question.
I think it has to, in a way. As you were going over that question, Jed, I was kind of looking at his resume, and I think this would be the biggest win of his career as far as quality of opponent and name value. Now, he has a ton of amazing wins. Especially if you look at where they fought them. I still rate the Tony Ferguson win. Of course, beating Dustin Poirier, Gaethje, These are some great, like, again, he's beaten other top 25 lightweights and finished them too, right? These are impressive wins. He's also, though, fallen to some of the elite, right? Ilia Topuria, arguably, the top pound for pound fighter in the world now, lost to him. Arman Tsarukyan, maybe the best lightweight in the world, lost to him. Close fight, great fight. And Islam Makhachev, of course, one of the top 5 lightweights ever, lost to him. So that's recent years. Charles has not gotten over that hump when he's facing one of these fellow greats recently. Good Gamrot, good win. Michael Chandler, Dariush, great wins, good wins. But you see the gap between the guys he's lost to and the gaps that he's beaten. Holloway is still, to me, in that upper tier. Like, he is still, in our pound for pound rankings, I think we have him 11 or 12. So we still consider Holloway, and that could be too low, for being honest. Depending how people gauge pound for pound, like if you really favor the lower weight classes, you could probably still keep Holloway firmly in the top 10, and I don't think anyone would argue about it. And this is today. I'm not talking about all time. I'm talking about pound for pound right now. Max Holloway might be in the top 10. So if Oliveira wins this, it is, by far his his biggest win, and I think the biggest of his career. This is a more meaningful
it's this
win.
or Poirier.
This is a more meaningful win
of those two
than beating Michael Chandler for a vacant lightweight title.
Much more
right
than beating Michael Chandler.
I know. I'm sure people in the comments are like, "Oh, you're crazy. He won a UFC title." But again, that's not. We say this all the time. Belts are props, and when you get them and who you get them against is often not even the ideal situation. So, like, that was a great moment in his career. I'm not saying this would be a better moment. Surely becoming UFC champion, UFC 262, a better moment. Super fair. But beating Holloway, if he finishes him, imagine if he submits Max Holloway, which would be super crazy. That's right up there. And I don't know how that bumps him, as you said, Jed. I don't know if that makes him a top 10 pound for pound fighter. And I don't think he passes Max in the all-time list. I won't go that far. But it certainly improves his ranking. And I do think really keeps him firmly in that top 5 lightweight conversation. So a lot on the line, I think, for Charles.
I agree. I think that might really lock him in. I think a lot of people, especially with how recency bias works, would just put Charles in the top 5 already. And again, there's certainly an argument. If he beats Max up, I think that probably just guarantees him in that top 5 spot. This would just be such a significant win at this stage of his career. I would move him into my top 10 pound for pound active list, probably. Very close, if not in it, right? Like, he'd be right near at the top. But historically, like, it would be good. It would probably elevate him up some, but Charles would need to do a lot to crack into the top 10 all-time fighters. I think he has too much negative baggage in the prime years of his career. Because his career arc is so different. He had the storybook arc, not the, I've started young and I stayed undefeated forever, or I had 1 or 2 setback losses and then came up. Like, he had the RDA. I was in many respects written off, but I just kept chopping wood, kept getting better, and worked my way to being the best in the world for a period of time, and still is one of the very best in the world right now. So I think the stakes of this fight, I know the stakes are the BMF belt and what does that mean? And there's so much talk about whether that title should exist and yada, yada, yada. I think you set aside any of that. And I do feel that there are some pretty major legacy defining stakes, all in a positive way, right? Like, I don't think anybody's losing anything too majorly from their legacy with a loss on Saturday, because this is not the peaks of their career, but there's a lot to play for outside of a shiny belt that may or may not be meaningful. And so, AK, actually, because I've talked about that this week, might as well just settle in on that topic as well. We don't have to dive too deep. What are your thoughts on the BMF belt? Do you think that the UFC should continue to do this? Do you like how they're handling it? Do you like that fighters can have, outside of the title picture, can have something else going on? Are you cool with this being a main event, basically?
I am, but I would have been cool with it being a main event without a title on the line. I don't subscribe to the UFC's mentality that they have to have championship fights in the main event. I know there's been exceptions recently. I think Masvidal Colby was no title on the line, nothing was a main event, and I'm like, yes, that's fine. This has its own storyline. Give it 5 rounds, but we don't need to pretend it's for a title. It's a fight people want to watch. Obviously, anytime Conor McGregor comes back, if he's fighting for a title or if he's not, he's going to be a 5-round main event. It doesn't matter who it is. So there are exceptions, and I just like I really hate that. I've always hated that the UFC has made this rule that like, oh well, we have to have a title fight at the top, have to have a title at the top, because with respect to some of these divisions, some of these belts, and they don't have a lot of juice behind them. So really, it feels so shoehorned. It feels so inorganic. This to me feels like a very logical main event. I know we've complained about the rest of the card. I don't think any of us complained over this being a main event. I as for the belt itself, like I don't mind props. I think when BMF title first came out, I was like, great, give the people more stuff to fight for. Like that's cool, and especially if it means more guys getting championship pay, if they get compensated like an undisputed champion, which I don't know if that's the case, but if they do, fantastic. We make even more belts, right? We talk about pro wrestling, the intercontinental belts, and the U.S. title, and all these other alternate titles. Like you don't want to get lost in the weeds by making too many, but it is a fun thing to have fighters fight for stuff. It is meaningful for them. When there wasn't an interim title every like 2 months, that actually meant a lot to fighters too. Maybe it still does. So belts are props and they're great. But I will say this particular prop, I would like to see them take a break with it. Maybe not right away, because I do think you have a lot of exciting fighters who could still vie for it. But I would love to see it just go away for like a year. Just make, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Let us miss it. Because it started off as a cool concept and now it's so corporate. Now it's just like, oh, it does feel just like another UFC device, and that's not fun as a fan. That's not the definition of BMF as far as I know. So I don't know if it needs to go away completely, Jed, but if they could just maybe put it aside for a while, a temporary retirement after this fight, while whoever wins presumably goes on to, hopefully an undisputed title shot somewhere down the road, fingers crossed. And then, let's revisit in 2026, even 2027 or 2028, even better. I'd love to see the belt put aside. But if there's a matchup that makes sense for it, of course, just bring it back.
Yeah, here's the thing. I really like the BMF belt, and I think they've handled it mostly pretty well. When you set aside the fact that they immediately stole Nate Diaz's idea and made it like the most UFC version of that idea possible, right? Like,
hi, kids. Do you like BMF, kids?
Yeah. Like if you set aside that part, I've had this argument a couple of times in the past few weeks, and I just keep coming back to, this solves a problem that desperately needed to be solved, which is not every fighter can be fighting for belts, and some fighters deserve recognition and are significant, but are outside of title pictures. Think of, not necessarily specifically this, but like think of a Rich Franklin or a Joseph Benavidez, guys who are great world-class elite tier fighters, but who are not in the title mix because they've lost to the champion several times or whatever. This is sort of a perfect belt for guys like Charles and Max, frankly, who maybe not in the immediate title picture, though we can talk about that too in just a moment, but are great fighters. And this is a way to recognize them in a meaningful way, like an intercontinental championship or whatever. And so I'm fully on board with that, so long as they continue to treat it as they have, which is, if you look back at the history of this belt, the fights define the belt in a lot of ways, and they have always been the right fights. They have yet to go fully corporatize this belt. It would have been silly if Ilia Topuria won the BMF belt because he knocked out Max Holloway. Ilia Topuria is the featherweight champion of the world at the time. He wasn't a BMF, and I don't even think most people would I know BMF's a nebulous concept, but he's not really in that. It's not, these are different things. It's more of a legends belt, realistically, which is an awesome thing to have. And so as long as they keep doing that, and they're not like, okay, Max, now you're going to defend against Ludovic Klein, who's awesome, and that would be a fun fight, right? But that goes against the essence of the belt. I don't know that codifying anything makes it better, but if they do retire it, at least for a little bit, which, has happened a touch, if Max leaves and goes to fight for the belt or whatever, we set the belt aside. I would like to see them maybe move it to another weight class or two, shift it around a bit. And I'm just spitballing, AK, but like the BMF board of fighters, which is people who fought for the belt, can weigh in to determine like okay, this passes muster and can be like that's a fine BMF thing, would be something I could be sold on, because my concern is not for this fight, but for future fights where it's like, I love Benoit Saint-Denis. Benoit Saint-Denis should not be fighting for the BMF belt. He's not. It's just not the same thing. So as long as they keep doing this, I'm okay with it.
I'd like them to broadcast that vote then, and then it's either a middle finger upward or a middle finger downward.
Yes, that would be sick.
That I'm okay with. I wasn't with you all the way, and then I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, that'd be fun.
That'd be electric television.
Jed, my issue with the BMF title though is like, I don't know if it does signify anything, like as far as like you're saying these guys.
What does the Intercontinental Championship signify?
Yeah, but that's again, it's not an apples to apples thing though, because there is, I mean, theoretically, pro wrestling, quote unquote, earning title shots in pro wrestling has completely gone out the window anyway. But there was a time when it was supposed to be like, there was almost like two ladders of, there's the world title ladder and then there's the intercontinental ladder. It was like there was a clear distinction, and there's not that distinction here. Two, we don't need that for Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira because they've won actual UFC titles. So it's kind of weird.
I think we do need that for them. If this didn't have a fake title on the line, it would not feel like a pay-per-view. And you can argue that this card already doesn't feel like a pay-per-view or a strong one. But if you took the trinket off of it, it would really feel like, oh, this is UFC Las Vegas, not UFC 326.
Yeah, but I want to add this though, and also like how much to really add, because when you look back like at the career of like Jorge Masvidal, of course we'll bring out the BMF belt. I'm not saying it's not something we don't remember. We'll remember the magical run of Ben Askren and it was Darren Till, I think, right? And then of course winning the BMF title in ATS, an incredible run, and the title is part of that. But it's not like we're going to look back and be like, oh, because Jorge Masvidal won that, he was ever one of like he was never like a top 5 welterweight. Like that's not really a thing. Like we don't look back on it like that. So I don't know. I know what you're saying as far as like, it's good to have some sort of recognition, but I don't know. It doesn't add merit to like a fighter's resume, in my opinion. It just happens to be that great fighters have held it. And I don't feel like
which means it adds merit.
I don't know. Does it? Like Justin Gaethje.
Yes.
Justin Gaethje, like I don't care that he had it. Doesn't do anything for me. Like I don't know. It doesn't add to his legacy. For me,
this is the exact same conversation as the NBA in-season tournament, where it's like, okay, it doesn't mean anything. It's like, yeah, year 2 it doesn't mean anything. Year 30 it means something. Like this is the FA Cup didn't mean anything the first time they did it, and now it does. Like.
But again, all those things have a clear path of like how you earn that title. This is what's kind of cool about the BMF is that it's like almost like a feel. It's a vibe.
It's a vibe. Feel thing. The clear path is your vibes are high, and that part people of it love you.
And that part of it I like. But also again, like I feel like it doesn't make it just it's hard for me to view it as a merit thing. Like competition wise, what I'm saying. Like I feel like you can be a fighter with a mediocre record and become the BMF champion someday, which is kind of what happened with Masvidal, right? That's kind of what Masvidal was. He was his journeyman, and again, that doesn't it doesn't put him anywhere near the actual cream of the crop of his division. It's just like, oh, it's this cool run, and it's a vibesy thing. So I don't know. I'm happy to see it.
Vibes are important.
Vibes are important.
Vibes are critical.
I'm happy to give it a break.
I've just dug my heels in that like this is a good thing, and people being anti it or just being way too hipster and cool. Like it's fine for there to be a silly little belt. All belts are kind of silly, and this can be the silliest belt.
I'm just old. This isn't me being a hipster. I'm just old. Okay,
I'm old yelling
cranky.
At the
yeah, excuse me. This is not a hipster day. I'm old and cranky.
Well, let's get back to one other old. We're mostly just going to talk about this fight because it's the one that's interesting. But let us ask another question about this fight before we do a breakdown and move on to other topics. And the question is simple, and it is this: AK, the lightweight title picture, bit murky. Justin Gaethje will ostensibly fight Ilia Topuria to unify their belts sometime later this year, perhaps at UFC White House, maybe not. We'll see. But Arman Tsarukyan is in the mix, but Arman Tsarukyan also sometimes assaults people, and sometimes the UFC decides they don't like that. Sometimes they don't care. So Arman Tsarukyan is an ever-present question. The winner of this fight, AK, is their next fight for the undisputed lightweight title?
No. No, I'm not confident in it. I do think the Ilya Justin thing is going to go down. And I do realize that Arman is likely not going to get the winner of Ilya and Justin. So the spot is open. I just have a feeling now I'm considering the possibility of Ilya beating Justin and then going up to welterweight or whatever, and then them having a vacant title spot fight. And then if that's two spots that could be filled by either Max or Charles. So gosh, I still don't think so. I'm gonna lean towards no. I'm gonna lean towards no. Even in that very realistic scenario that I've just laid out. Maybe it's because they because of the BMF belt. Maybe they feel like whoever has it can just that's one more pay-per-view spot that they can have. I keep saying pay-per-view, but you guys know what we mean. One more pay-per-view spot that they can have booked. That I have settled in because they know the BMF belt is available. So I'll go no. Would they deserve it? Yeah, I would love to see either of these guys fight Ilya again. I know he beat them both really convincingly the first time around. Sure, if Gaethje pulled off the upset and beat Ilya, I'd have no complaints about watching Charles or Max fight Justin again. These are great fights. These are great matchups. Storyline wise, I don't think people would be too into them, but it might not matter when you have fighters of this caliber. So, but I know for now. I just don't think. I think the UFC will try to find another way.
I agree. I've been saying for a long time, but people have been pushing on it, and I can't understand it. But I think, and I've been saying for a long time, and it's now been out there. Other people have spoken about it. I think honestly, the most logical thing from the UFC standpoint, and really from all parties involved, is that the winner of this will defend the belt, probably at International Fight Week against Conor McGregor, because the UFC is not interested in doing Conor versus Chandler for whatever reason that may be. I said this months and months ago. I was like, if you're Conor and the UFC doesn't want to do Chandler, they're probably not going to give you a real title fight, but a BMF title fight kind of fits. It's silly. It's a gimmick, but it'd be massive. People would love it. So I think that is the likely scenario here. The winner. But if Justin Gaethje pulls off a super upset, then everything's in play. I think the whole world becomes an opportunity out there. So something to look forward to. AK, let's get down to brass tacks. Give me a breakdown on this fight, how you think it goes, if there's anything specific about the matchup you are curious about, and give me your winner.
And I do wonder how effective Oliveira's grappling can be against Max, because I think we're thinking Charles will have a little bit of size on him. Like, I think it'll be more noticeable when you see them step into the cage. It's not like Max is a tiny lightweight, but he has spent the majority of his career comfortably fighting at 145. Charles is keep saying he can make 145, but let's be real, he is a natural 155er. I think even a little bit big on that end. So I want to see the grappling will come into play. Because Charles he'll brawl with Max. He's hurt people on the feet many times. He's really rounded out his game. Like that's really totally a thing. So I want to see if he can try to pose as well in his grappling, with his grappling, because that's not really something that any fighter has done to Max. Like, he's got a submission loss or two in his career, but it's not like from someone just grappling him and tossing him around. And that's not really Charles Oliveira's style anyway. So if the game plan for Charles is to obviously put his jiu-jitsu to work and go for submissions, I'm very curious how he gets there. Obviously, we're going to see a lot of clinch fighting. We'll see, some wrestling against the fence, just some scrambles. Reactionary takedowns during striking exchanges. Like, there's a lot of ways that Charles can try and bring this fight to the ground. I'm just curious how much of that is part of the plan, or how much of it is him being like, listen, BMF title fight, I know I can hurt him. Like, I've hurt a lot of people on the feet. I'm just going to go for it. I'm not worried about Max maybe being the best boxer in MMA. I'm not worried about the point down. I'm going to throw hands. That's way more likely where this is going to go. But if he treats this like it's almost like a serious 5-round title fight, which mileage may vary, maybe it is. I wonder how much he mixes the martial arts and goes for the grappling. I want to see at least a bit, because I know Holloway can defend against it. We've seen it many times, but this is Charles. Maybe the greatest, not maybe, I mean, statistically, the greatest submission artist in the history of the UFC.
Yeah, I think Max is going to kill him. I've been saying it all week. I've been thinking it for like a month. I think both men are past their primes. Max was always more durable. Charles's durability is still there, which is shocking to me. His performance against Gamrot was quite impressive, frankly, given all the circumstances. But Max has always been more durable, and I think the move up to lightweight only sort of helps to mitigate his aging problems, right? He is cutting less weight, so he's will be a little more durable as a result of that. He's actually added some pop to his shots, which I think is super helpful. And, he's never like the fastest guy. He was really a timing based fighter in a lot of respects, but moving up in weight means he is sort of naturally quicker than he would be relative to other featherweights. So I think all of this plays super in his favor. I think stylistically it plays in his favor. Charles is so hittable, and Max is just going to keep popping him. And if Charles can't get takedowns, I think it's going to be a real bad day for him. The problem is Max is very good at not giving up takedowns, and when he does give up takedowns, you don't get much hay with them. So I think Max is going to thump him up proper. I suspect a stoppage because Charles, when he loses, mostly it is getting finished. And so Max Holloway, I believe, will defend his BMF title successfully for the second time, like second or third round knockout for old Blessed. AK, let us move on to the co-main event, because this is obviously a fight that is after my heart. My large adult son, my medium-sized adult son, sometimes large, sometimes medium-sized adult son, Reiner de Ritter, aka RDR, aka Hindy de Hither, is taking on Caio Bajalio in a matchup of streaking middleweights who lost the fight and are now back in the middle of the rankings and trying to figure out what comes next. And so, AK, that is my question to you, is what is the stakes of this co-main event fight between these two kind of guys who are very, very close to a title fight and now seem to be well outside of that conversation?
I think you need to start saying like NKA, not known as Hainer de Hitter, because literally you're the only one who says this. It is not so NKA, not known as, but keep confusing people. That's that's what you must do. And I disagree that they're that far out of the title picture. I actually really don't think they are, because the title picture hasn't moved, man. I mean, Hamza won the belt. I thought we knew where we were going with this. We had Imavov coming up. We were going to have Fluffy fight RDR. Of course, that fell through. And then Hamza's just not, they're just not, either he's not fighting or they're just not booking a fight for him. So it's not like the line has moved that much. Yeah, RDR got bumped back by Brendan Allen. Yeah, Caio got bumped back by Imavov. But again, based on availability, based on how long some of these people are going to wait or not wait, it's there really only one good win away. Like let's say one of these guys just blows the door off the other guy on Saturday night, and then whenever Hamza's ready to fight, let's say Imavov or whatever is not ready, or who else am I forgetting? Or Brendan Allen is just too far, is kind of in a weird spot. Sean Strickland, of course, we think is possibly the front runner, which seems strange, but makes sense based on his win, and like I said, based on the line not really moving. And if the line didn't really move, I mean, that keeps Strickland in like the number 2 or number 3 contender spot. So it's so I don't think any of these guys are that far. Maybe one of these guys gets the Strickland fight. I don't think so. Like, I think if you're Strickland, you're smart. You're going to kind of want to wait for Hamza. And then if that doesn't happen, you consider other options like Caio or Reiner or Imavov rematch. I don't know. So yeah, I think there's actually a ton on the line in this co-main event. I still think it's kind of a funny one, just because it's also like this co-main could easily also be a Meta Apex main event, like UFC 17 Vegas 117, Caio Bajalio versus de Ritter no one would bat an eyelash. Nobody would be like, oh man, this fight needs to be on pay-per-view. Like, it's a good fight for a pay-per-view. It just feels strange because they're both coming off losses and because the middleweight title picture is so stagnant. So funky feel to it, but I think more like important to the division than maybe it's getting credit for.
You've kind of sold me. I was mainly just looking at this as like loser leaves town match, of whoever loses is just not going to be in the middleweight mix at this point, because I mean, certainly RDR is older, and I think if he loses should just immediately go to 205. Arguably should do that anyway, but for Caio, back-to-back losses at a weight class that has a lot going on might just mean he's never getting to the title. He's young enough that maybe could still find his way back, but I think the winner gains much less than the loser loses in this matchup, if that makes sense, AK. And so my question from there inevitably follows to, who is going to win this fight? Like how do you see this one playing out? Because there's been a little bit of talk between the two about various things. RDR is lovely, might I just say. Him talking at media day he's a classic Dutchman, and that really tickles my fancy in a lot of respects. Just like very, very jovial, good time. There's no beef here, but both men seem to be feeling themselves a little bit heading into this one.
Sorry, I'm just answering your question. No in the comments. Jed, I like RDR, man. I still do. And I'm not just saying this to get in your good graces, to curry favor with you, sir. I fully buy into the excuse, the 4 fights in a year excuse. I completely buy into it. We said that going into the UFC Vancouver main event. We said, like, man, 4 fights might be a lot. And like you said, at his age, like, he's not a young guy. He's got quite a bit of mileage. We know cutting to 185 is not a fun thing for him. Like, it's a real issue. So not to take anything away from Brendan Allen, and not to say, like, that RDR is some perfect fighter who's like, oh, he's top 5, is going to beat anyone if he's at his peak, because you just said that about a lot of fighters, frankly. But I cannot watch that UFC Vancouver main event and not see a guy who is like, oh yeah, this is not close to 100%. This doesn't look like close to 75% of what this guy's capable of, especially based on some of the things we've seen. We saw during that really fun 3 straight wins in the UFC, right? So yeah, I just think he's a better fighter than Caio, and Caio's great, very well rounded, very solid, good athlete. But I just think RDR to me is like that. When I talk about the difference between martial artist and fighter, like, this guy's a fighter, and he's got great martial arts skills, but I think he's going for the finish. I think he's willing to do wacky stuff outside the box to try and get into advantageous positions. So I'm definitely leaning RDR. I think this is going to end in a finish. Caio's never been finished before. I'm leaning. You know what? No, I can't quite go there. I'll go decision. I wish I was more adventurous. I'll go De Ridder, not De Quitter, by decision.
I mean, you know what I'm doing. There's a man. I treat him as a member of my family. I love that big, silly, violent goofball. And I think Caio Borralho is like a more technical striker and a very talented grappler in his own right. And so this fight could be fun. I do sort of wish it was 5 rounds, but over 3, I actually think that favors RDR, who is much bigger person than Caio, like just a much physically larger person, and awkward and tough to deal with. And a lot of dudes have gotten in there and been like, oh, I'm going to beat him. And then you're like, what the hell's happening? Why am I losing? And then you're losing. It's terrific, and I love it. I think that's going to happen. And maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe I'm entirely blinded by homerism, but I believed the minute it started happening in the fight, I was like, oh yeah, cutting weight 5 times in 11 months is just not physically possible for him to do that, because he kicked the shit out of Brendan Allen for 5 minutes and was completely gassed. And you don't usually get gassed out from kicking somebody's ass like that. So maybe Brendan would have won anyway. I'll never know. But I do put that one entirely down to the circumstances of it. Hopefully he is healthy. He certainly says he is. And so, of course, I'm riding with my boy. Super long odds. I haven't actually looked at the odds today, but if nothing else, I do believe that the odds on Caio Borralho are way out of whack. Caio Borralho is a minus 265 betting favorite. Come back on De Ridder plus 210. And that seems like that is just not reflective of how competitive I view this fight. So I am, of course, picking Reinier De Ridder, and I'll probably pick decision as well. AK, the feature bout of the evening, we don't have to spend too much time on this, but I do think it merits its own separate discussion because it is a very clear matchmaking choice here. You have longtime veteran Rob Font, stalwart, staple of the top 15 in the bantamweight division, taking on 21-year-old Raul Rosas Jr. Raul Rosas Jr. is, I mean, they've been promoting this dude for like 4 years at this point now, which is insane considering he's only 21 years old. This is Rosas's opportunity to crack into the top 15. Should he beat Rob Font, he can. And it does look on paper to be a fairly stylistically favorable matchup for him. I personally, AK, I think this is good matchmaking. But there are some risks here. Rob Font has been in this position several times, and most of the times he has turned back the advancing young fighter. Adrian Yanez found that out. Kyler Phillips found that out. David Martinez did not. David Martinez did defeat Rob Font, but what do you think? What are you looking for on Saturday when Raul Rosas Jr. fights Rob Font? And do you think that the old man can teach the young pup some new tricks one last time?
Yeah, and Jed, you didn't even mention Jean Matsumoto, and I know that was a close fight. Some would say Jean won, but that is a W on Rob Font's record, and certainly was not like bulldozed by the younger fighter. I mean, that was again, that was like the perfect test for Jean Matsumoto, and I like as a prospect kind of rate Matsumoto higher than Raul Rosas Jr. He's older, of course, but still, I do kind of rate him higher. So yeah, that's why I don't think this is such a like this. In some ways, it will be a showcase fight for Raul Rosas because I think it'll show how far he's come from the Christian Rodriguez loss. He's had wins since. He's won 4 straight. He's fought guys with a lot of experience, so that's good. Like I think they've been doing the right thing with him. Now you have a guy who actually has a number next to his name, currently sitting at number 13 in the UFC's official rankings. I don't need to see a Raul Rosas Jr. win. Let me put that straight. I don't need to see him just run through Rob Font to be like, okay, we're okay with the Raul Rosas Jr. experience. He's going to become the youngest UFC champion ever. This proves it. I don't need to see that. I do need to see, if he does lose, something a little more convincing than what we saw in the Christian Rodriguez loss, which all we saw was a young fighter who obviously has to work on his cardio a bit, certainly work on rounding out his game because he only had one game plan. And when that didn't work out and his energy drops, there was no alternative. I think, and that was 3 years ago now almost. I think we can confidently say he's gotten better. And that's what makes this matchup so perfect. I don't think they're rushing him. Like I think when we say Rob Font's number 13, like he's been in the top 15 forever. He is the quintessential gatekeeper and in a good way. And he has sent many people back from the gate. And that is his job. And he may do so again. David Martinez passed the test. David Martinez might be a future title challenger. I don't know. Raul Rosas Jr., I'm not as confident yet just because he's so young. But we do have a lot of data to work with. And we're going to have even more after Saturday and more high-level data. Because, again, this is a big, I think, a significant jump up in competition from everyone that Raul has fought in the past. So I just need to see a strong 15-minute performance, win or lose, from Raul Rosas Jr. to kind of keep the faith in him. If he loses a decision and it's a good fight, I'm not jumping. I'm not selling my my Raul Rosas stock yet.
I won't sell it because he's still 21, and that is just so young. But this is a setup fight for him in very specific ways. Yes, Rob Font is a tough out. Rob Font is not a great defensive wrestler. He's been taken down like a million times the last 5 fights. And he's won 2 of those fights, by the way. But Raul Rosas Jr. is much more a grappling forward fighter than Kyler Phillips or Jean Matsumoto are. So I think this is set up for Raul Rosas Jr. to crack into the top 15 and, get the biggest win of his career. And I do think he is going to get that done. I anticipate Raul Rosas Jr. winning. But if Rob Font can stuff a few takedowns, maybe take this a little later, things get very, very interesting, and I'll be very excited to see how that shakes out. So, AK, I'm picking Raul Rosas Jr. Who are you picking?
What are the odds? What are the odds again? How much of an underdog is Rob Font?
Rob Font is a plus 205 underdog. Raul Rosas Jr. minus 260, basically the same as the co-main event odds.
Wow, dang. Boy, he's. Raul Rosas Jr. is like young enough to be his like teenage. I think Rob Font is 17 years older than Raul Rosas Jr. or something like that. That is crazy. That is just crazy. I'll just be sensible and go chalk here. I do think the age matters. I do think the amount of pressure he can put on Rob Font matters. And he'll win a decision. If he can finish Rob Font, holy crap, that would be impressive. And we have seen some fighters lose their haven't been finished. I know Rob Font's been finished before, but very rarely. We have seen some very durable fighters kind of lose that, not make it to the scorecards, surprisingly. So maybe Raul Rosas Jr. does that. But yeah, I'll stay on the bandwagon here and pick the younger guy.
Nice. The other main card fights, Drew Dober taking on Michael Johnson in a lightweight contest that should be a banger. And of course, Gregory Robocop Rodriguez running things back with Bruno Ferreira, the aforementioned Bruno Ferreira. On our prelims, we've got Cody Garbrandt, former bantamweight champion, taking on Zhao Long. Dante Johnson taking on Cody Brundage. Both of those fights will be available on Big CBS before we move to the early prelims, which will be on Paramount Plus. Ricky Tercios, Alberto Montez, Cody Durden, Yam Jargle, Tumen Dimbrell.
Does the C in CBS stand for Cody?
I mean, it back-to-back Codys.
Back-to-back Cody. Three Codys.
The Cody broadcasting systems.
If you are Paramount,
CBS is only getting 2 Codys, but
no, isn't it Cody Garbrandt, Brundage, and Durden?
Durden's not on the regular CBS broadcast part.
No.
To my understanding, the regular
I'm sorry. Let me look.
To my understanding, the regular CBS broadcast part starts with the Dante Johnson Cody Brundage fight.
The Dante Johnson
at 8 p.m.
At 8 p.m. Oh, I'm sorry. So it's only going to be what, like 2 fights on CBS? No.
2 fights, and then the main card will also. I believe the main card is also available.
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Everyone in the comments like AK, you're an idiot. Like, yes, I'm sorry, I have not been in. So it'll be the last 2 fights of the prelims and the first 2 fights of the main card.
I'm not entirely sure how that's breaking down because it won't matter. I'll be watching the whole thing on Paramount Plus.
Yes,
but Ricky Tercios, Alberto Montez, Cody Durden, Yam Jargle, Tumen Dimbrell. We're going to put a pin in that for a moment. Sumaderji taking on Jesus Santos Aguilar, Rafael Tobias, Dr. Nurgazai. The Gaston Bolaños fight was canceled, as you mentioned. And opening proceedings, Luke Fernandez taking on Rodolfo Bellato, AK. Of the other fights we have not spoken about on this card, pick one out, give some shine to it.
Jed, do you like Cody?
Which one? A lot of options.
You don't have to.
Buffalo Bill? Love Buffalo Bill Cody.
You don't have to pick one. That's what's so great about it. We've talked about this quite a bit, and I apologize. I've not listened to the episode yet. I'm assuming you've talked about this on No Bets Barred.
The anti-Cody parlay.
The anti-Cody parlay.
Despite the fact that I think 2 of the Codys have a real chance to win or have a chance to win, but the anti-Cody parlay is in effect.
Yeah, but that's why the anti-Cody parlay is actually like pretty good value. I think it's like plus 200. I don't know it depends where you got it and when you got it, guys, but somewhere over plus 200 you should be getting for the anti-Cody parlay. Dante Johnson's like wide odds, so you're not getting a lot of value out of that. It's fun. So I just have to talk about that. I don't think there is a one particular fight that I'm like jazzed for, if I'm being honest. I am just locked in. If you guys know, I don't like to bet on MMA. I will have, I think, one bet this weekend. It is strictly the anti-Cody parlay. Nothing against Cody's. Cody Garbrandt, Cody Brundage, Cody Dirty, Cody Gibson. If you're out there, shout out to Cody Gibson. All these guys. Cody Steele doesn't even spell his name the same way. It's nothing personal. I'm just, when is the next time I'm going to get to fixate on something like this? So yes. So Zhao Long looking to knock off a former UFC champion. Really fascinating matchmaking there. I think I do like that Cody Garbrandt is sort of, I think. And I don't think he ever has, like, really, since he sort of fell out of the top 5 or top 10, however he fell. He's never really been in this mode of like, oh, I only want to fight ranked guys. He kind of is like Trevin Jones, bring it on. Like, I'm kind of aware of the arc my career went. Cody Brundage and very tough against Dante Johnson. Of course, Dante Johnson undefeated, expected to run through Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage fighting for the 5th time in a year. Did you guys even know that? Do you guys know?
Did not actually.
March to March, he fought in March of last year, and then fought, and this is his 4th fight since then. So counting that 5 times, you guys have seen Cody Brundage 5 times in a calendar year, and then Cody Durden, Yam Jargle, Tumen Dimbrell. I don't have a feel for this fight at all. Cody Durden's like an interesting guy, like as far as I think he's tough, I think he's talented, but just seems I think he's skilled. I think talent wise, I think he's like a tier below, like the upper half of the flyweight division. It just is never quite going to get there. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he upsets Tumen Dimbrell. So yeah, I'm locked into the Codys, man.
I am locked into Yam Jargle, Tumen Dimbrell because I played this game with Mike on BTL yesterday, and I played this game with Long Island Luke on No Bets Barred this week, and I'm going to play this game with you. Are you on Tapology right now, AK?
I can be.
I'd like you to open up Yam Jargle, Tumen Dimbrell's Tapology page and then go to his Instagram.
Okay, I thought we were going to talk about his nickname or something.
No. Okay. I mean, great nickname. I do love the nickname because it's a great gimmick, Art of Knockout, when all you do is submit people. It's a terrific thing. But
okay, I'm Instagram. Yes,
I want you to just go to his Instagram and scroll down. At any point in time, you'll you'll just be mesmerized by everything going on.
His gear.
It's my mission in life to get more people to view Tumen Dimbrell's Instagram page, because this man might be the coolest person alive. Like, I don't know if you're looking at any of these photos.
Are you loving
the coolest photos?
His traditional Mongolian garb? Is this what we're...
I'm absolutely loving it. My personal favorite one is him in the full-on Mongolian traditional garb with a falcon on his head, holding a bow.
Yes.
But there's also him riding a horse with a falcon, which is very cool.
I'm a little concerned here, though. We're glossing over. Are you seeing this photo where it looks like he's taken with a Cody?
Oh yes, he has a photo with Cody Garbrandt.
Oh,
not the Cody he's fighting. So he's learning the mysteries of Cody.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel about this now. He might be in too deep.
I mean, I couldn't be more locked into a fighter after
that's more
looking
encouraging.
at these pictures.
You saw. Okay, all right.
Plus, he has also several photos with fun hats, and you know my rule about difficult names and fun hats. Bet on that guy. So, Jargle Tumen Dimbrell, let's go. If you guys have 5 minutes, go scope his IG. It's super fun.
Give him a follow. This guy should have like 50,000 followers.
I wish I had that aura. I wish I had that aura, frankly.
Give this guy more followers.
All right, AK. I think we've been going about an hour. I think we can go to the peeps here. We can bring in the third man on this little panel we got going on here. And there he is, producer extraordinaire Mike Heck. Mike, we talked a lot about stuff yesterday in general, but any other, any latent thoughts about 326 you need to get off your chest before you don't have the opportunity to do so?
It's a card that's happening. I mean, I guess that's all I could say, but the main event rocks. So like it's okay, I guess. Like I'm still looking forward to it. Like I'm pumped for it, but it's only mostly for the main event. But it's not like RDR and Kaio is bad and Raul Rosas Jr. and Rob Font is bad. These are just like, I saw some people say it in the comments, and I'm not saying this is going to be like a not fun card, so I don't want to come off as a negative Nancy. This is a fight night card. Like this is a fight night card with a great main event. That's what this is. So, and I think a lot of people are going to be tuning in because they are going to be on CBS, I believe from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. And they're going to announce a bunch of fights. They're going to announce the White House card, and that'll be good.
Mike, it's interesting that you say that, because since I have production powers as well now, I've been using them. And we had a question about this very, very topic, Mike. And so I think this is a seamless way to transition into the questions. Of course, as always, super chats and members will get priority. But since this kind of works out for our segue, Joseph Bosa have been asking from the beginning, and it did feel appropriate. Do AK and Jed and Mike suspect we get either 328 or White House announcements between 8 and 10 tomorrow when the card is on Big CBS?
Yes. In the middle of Cody Mania, yeah, that's peak. I mean, that's when your viewership is going to be at its highest. Because I think a lot of people are either going to be on the anti-Cody parlay or the pro-Cody parlay. There could be some pro-Codyists who, let's say, if Cody Durden upsets,
we don't respect them.
There's plenty in the comments, so please do not say that. A lot of pro-Codyists. It would be bizarre at this point if they did not make the announcement during that block. It is right there. Dana White is essentially saying it without saying it. Like, he's just not already saying it. He said, "I'm announcing the fights this week." Oh, Saturday. He went as far as say Saturday. I'm sorry.
He said Saturday night.
There is no other logical time. Don't do it during the main chunk of the broadcast, like after CBS. This is. I don't even know if we need to debate this. I will go as far as to say, like, yes, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, right, Mike? What's the reasoning for this not happening? Like, I just don't know.
I think that's kind of the whole reason they're going on CBS to begin with, right? Like, I don't know if the plan was just having them on for an hour or if it was definitely 2 hours, but now that they're on for 2 hours, they're absolutely going to announce this entire White House card, and I can't wait to see it. And it's not because
so excited.
I just feel like it's gonna be bad. I just feel like this card is gonna underwhelm in a lot of ways.
He said bad.
I have no insight to this. I just don't.
My best friend said bad. He said bad. It's gonna be bad.
I think we get John Jones Pereira.
Okay.
And then it just a bunch of okay. Like, this is happening at the White House. But I just don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. Are we going just like we're gonna treat this like any other fight night? or are we going to go full spectacle? And I don't know what they're going to do here. So I am very curious. I hope it's full spectacle because then it'll be fun and we could just get all silly with it. But I think they're going to treat this like a fight night.
I think one of two things will happen. Either we will get it between the Cody fights, or we will get it between the prelim and the main card, and it's going to be a full video package. I don't think it's going to be cut to Joe Rogan and John Anik and Daniel Cormier being like, oh, and here now we're announcing that they're going to have some pomp and circumstance to it, at least for the big fights, the headliner, the John Jones Alex Pereira fight that I think many people anticipate is coming. And then we'll get to, like, I think we're going to get, like, you remember the 200 video package they did for John Jones and Daniel Cormier? Like, that also made the rounds earlier today on Twitter. We're going to get a video package like that for whatever the big fights are. And then they'll cut to the booth and it'll be John Anik. Yeah, and also on this, and then they'll drop the card, and so we'll have that, and it will be special and fun and exciting.
So, I'm a little torn. I hope this is what happens. What I think might happen is they're just going to bring Dana on to announce it during the broadcast, which would be okay. What I don't want to happen, and there is precedent set for this, is that Dana drops an IG live during that time slot and announces it, because he's done this before. Like, he's done an IG live, like, on his way back to the press conference, announcing fights that were waiting for to be announced, and that wouldn't shock me either. It'd be real bad, and then they talk about it on the broadcast. Like, that is a reality we have to be prepared for as well.
I think you nailed it, though. Like, the reason they would be going early on CBS is not to highlight Cody Brundage and Dante Johnson. It's to highlight these fights. So I feel a level of confidence that they're going to make this big. And mostly what I'm most excited for, guys, it'll be all over. It'll be all over. We won't have to speculate. We won't have to suck up every question in the room.
It's only beginning.
The fights.
It's only beginning, Jed. I don't know what you mean.
That's true.
How can you say it's over?
I think
we'll know the fights.
Even Dana saying now, like, we have 6 fights, we might add a 7th. So once they
fight,
announce 6 fights, we're going to wonder what the 7th fight is for the next month.
A secret fight that would be a great gimmick, which I'd be hugely supportive
PFL
of.
should do secret fights every card, because they're running out of ideas right now. So
they're running out of fighters too. As Francis Ngannou.
What are the chances we get a Grand Prix style? All like 12 fighters that are involved in the 6 fights are put on stage. Like
0.
What?
Oh, that's a 0.
Oh, no.
I thought you meant what are the chances that for one night only the UFC brings back a tournament? That would be banging.
No, I
that would be my favorite thing in the world.
If they had all the fighters like involved at T-Mobile Arena, like right now, just like we're able to like bring them out.
I don't think they're definitely not going to do that. Will we get crowd shots of them? Yes. Mm-hmm. That's what I think is going to happen. We'll just be like, oh, there's Derek Lewis. He's fighting Max Jimenez on the card. There's Gable Steveson. He's also fighting Max Jimenez on the card. Like, Max Jimenez got to fight twice.
Gable's not fighting on the card, Mike.
He's trying to make it happen.
275 points. He's fighting
really,
on
early. He's really trying to make it happen.
That's strictly a keeper pick, Mike. He's not getting you any points this half.
He is fighting at the White House. I'm just going to keep putting that out into the universe.
Man.
So. Let's see. We'll see what happens.
First, shout out to Anthony.
Hey, you're not the producer, okay? I know you have power.
But I have the powers, Mike.
I will take that away from you and give that to Jose in a moment's notice.
We got a few new members.
Yes, I'm gonna highlight all of them.
I know you will. You're the producer.
Why am I here?
I'm having too much fun.
I know you will.
I'm drunk with power.
How is Spencer? I thought Spencer was a member forever. Shout out to Hannah V.
Hannah V, what's up?
Also, ostensibly, that is a woman. And I straight up did not know women watched our show. We love diversity here.
Yes, and Hannah hooked us up with 20 of whatever that is.
I looked it up. Do you know what that? I just looked it up right now. Jed?
Nope.
These are Krona guys from Sweden.
I almost said whatever the Swedish thing was, but then I was like, I don't really know what the name of their currency is.
All right, we have a couple Spencer super chats here.
Spencer, hell of a pull on Keith Jardine on prop quiz, Jed, but was surprised to you say Max is top 10 pound for pound all time. We know you're hell at 6. You have your 7 to 10 ranked. Habib, Volk, then a lot of guys close for me. Yes, new episode of Prop Quiz is out. I, spoiler alert, put the tips into Chuck Mendenhall.
Excuse me.
I'm coming for you, Jose Youngs. And honestly, you should watch to the end because it is a dramatic finish, despite me having an enormous lead heading into the final round. So you should watch. I already kind of talked about my Max Holloway stance on this as far as kind of the remaining guys in my top 10. Volk is undeniably in the, like, it's, I've got the 6. Volk and Max are in the top 10. That leaves 2 slots, which are a little up. Habib has one of them, and I think BJ has the other, but it all gets real hard after my kind of hallowed 6. Marab was in consideration if he had kept going, and he still could get back there. I think if Islam keeps going, he can crack into that top 10. Depending on the career Ilya has, he could do that. If Alex Pereira wins the heavyweight belt, I have to at least think about it. That's so unique and different. But there's the 6 and there's everybody else. But Volk and Max are undeniably, in my mind, in that top 10 as well. And then the other spots are kind of debatable for me. But for y'all, let's just go there. How do y'all think Max Holloway is one of the 10 greatest pound for pound fighters of all time? No wrong answers.
Off the top of my head, I would say yeah. I was gonna say something about Ilya, of course. I think Ilya can get there. I think it's a matter of like now we're talking about accomplishments, right? So Ilya for sure should at some point surpass Max. He just hasn't done so yet. So yeah, I'm comfortable putting Max in there. Featherweight is just such a good division. And we just happen to have 3 really incredibly strong, long-lasting champions, right? Aldo and Volkanovski and all Holloway, all somewhat with not concurrent careers, in the same 20-year span, at least have some crossover. So that was fun to see. So yeah, I'm comfortable putting all 3 guys in the top 10. I'd have to think about it, but I would think top 10, top 12, but like at the worst.
I don't know. I think that's one of those things I really have to like sit down and figure out.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Like, I don't hate it. I think you make a strong case for it. So
the thing I just always say when I'm doing these, because people reflexively say stuff like, yeah, top 10 all time. It's like, actually sit down and try and make the list. And you realize how few spots 10 is. They go real fast when there are just like undeniable people. Like, if your top 10 list doesn't have George St. Pierre and John Jones and Demetrius Johnson and Anderson Silva, your top 10 list is nonsense. So like, you're just running with so few spots, but that's how highly I esteem like the long career that is frankly not over, because I've been burying Max for years at this point. I thought he was going to start dropping off for years, and he has been like, F you, Jed, you're stupid. And I'll wear that. I will wear that.
All right. Spencer got another one.
Shout out Spencer. Spencer, wild to me how quickly it went from John not trusted to main the White House to being the front runner. What do you think changed in Dana's mind? After how bad previous retirement was, I think he really needed this. So you both laughed. Do you think Dana changed his mind at all, or
he ran out? He ran out of options.
Exactly.
Choice.
Correct.
Yep. And this is why John ultimately played this perfectly.
I can't believe it. I thought I can't. He outlasted it. Like I think I was asking you guys in during a meeting or something. I was like, do you think like the UFC lowballed him? And then you reminded me like no. Even though he was like I said almost begging. It sounded like he was essentially like this time 6 months ago he was like begging them to be on the card, and like probably UFC could have had him for cheap then. But now that they need someone just to give this card some sort of luster, he's probably getting his better than his usual rate, and that is impressive. So him and his team, whether it was by accident or on purpose, I think they did kind of win out in the end. Yeah.
Shout out to Amp.
Shout out to Caleb.
Shout out to Caleb. Enjoy those emotes. More are coming, and belts.
What do I want to go with here?
I've thrown a bunch of others that I like starred throughout the thing. You don't have to get to them in any order. They're
I'll
just
throw this one up there because
yeah.
we're gonna spend.
Shout out to the
time here.
Twitchsters. Power slap tonight, AK. The crazy Hawaiian lost 200 pounds to compete at heavyweight.
Okay.
Is this going to be an all Hawaii victory party this weekend, counting power slap as well?
Is he facing someone named Cody? Because if so,
I don't know how many Codys are on at power slap.
probably quite a few, I would bet. I don't know. I barely understood that sentence. So I don't know what was going there.
I don't know what you didn't understand. The crazy Hawaiian is competing at power slap.
Oh, that's a person. Okay.
He is a person. I just saw this one and thought it was great because I didn't realize it. AK is a black polo shirt and a ball cap away from this panel looking like some kind of middle class street gang.
Oh, upper middle class with the Mean Street posse. Right, Mike?
That's right.
Mean Street. Beat gas.
What a time. Jed doesn't even know what we're talking about.
No, he didn't get that one.
The Mean Street Posse. What a great time they were. They were so bad. It made no sense.
So good.
Rodney was the other.
Oh, Rodney. Yes, that's right.
What was it? Joey Abs? Joey Abs, right?
Oh, Joey Abs. That's right. And then
the mystery third member who was like the actual pro wrestler.
Oh, so wrestling thing, of
yes,
course.
Yes,
okay, I was like, I don't know.
This was Shane McMahon's posse. They all wore like sweater vests, and they dress like I did.
That's a great gimmick
in middle school. It was pretty spectacular.
Dr. Ned Cashew. How about Luke destroying some hack? More like Luke Thomas goes nuclear. We don't have to dive into this, but we can. I mostly just wanted to use this as an opportunity to say, Luke, if I've ever offended you, I apologize. Please don't do that to me. I have a family. That was a tough scene for Mike Coppinger.
Oh boy. I don't want to listen. I don't know enough about this. Well, I mean, I know some things, but I don't know enough about the situation and the person in question to like kind of pile on. But I will say Luke's points were like incredible. And there are a lot of people in this industry who probably have like an inflated opinion of their talents and why they got to where they are, and maybe not like accepting why they are where they are. There you go. That's my most diplomatic way of putting it. Because again,
so tactful
and really, if you haven't, whether you agree with Luke or not, really watch his takedown of this journalist, because it is something to see.
This dude should be off Twitter for a year.
Oh boy!
After this, I mean, this
was log off, bro, because it's not good out there for you.
This was a body bagging. Like that's what I put out. I was like, God, like they're just virtually wheeling Mike Coppinger out into the hearse right now, and it was tough. Like they're gonna gif off him just saying, "You're a whore."
Oh, that's
dude, there are gonna be like so many MMA gifts from that.
It was.
Do you think you're good at your job? It's just like
I can't lie to America and the world. I've watched that video at least 5 times.
Dude, I watched it live and I was like, oh my goodness.
I was in the doctor's office. My kid broke his freaking forearm yesterday. So we're sitting in urgent care waiting for him to get his cast, and I saw it pop up and I started listening to it, and you know, Grayson's got sensitive ears, so when he hears a swear, he looks at me like, why? How dare you?
What's going on?
And he goes, now it's time for me to weigh in, MFer. And I was like, oh boy. And then he started talking, and he's like, you should probably turn that off right now. And I was like, yep. And then I went home and watched it like 5 times in a row. Tough scenes. I had met Mike. You've heard what I've said about his broadcast talents, that when he's on camera, he looks like the guy from Scanners. Yes, that guy from Scanners.
Yes, that guy.
He looks like his head is going to explode on the broadcast with anxiety. It worries me. He scares me when I watch him on television. I did not get a fond view of Mike Coppinger in the short time that I met him. And that's all I'll say. But I won't say. I will say that I will say that I enjoyed it, and I'll leave it at that.
I will encourage you all to go find it. It's out there. Awful Announcing picked it up because, of course, they did. The only thing I'll add is that I'm a man who likes hyperbole. Y'all know this. But often when someone starts a rant or a diatribe with, I'm about to dunk on you so hard your freaking grandchildren are going to feel it. They don't back that up. Not the case. Not the case in this one. Luke went full AP style. Here's what I'm going to do, and then followed through. So go watch it if you haven't.
I texted him last night and was like, bravo. That was
I didn't want to text him because I sometimes see Luke in person and I'm afraid one day he'll do that to me now. I'm just afraid of Luke.
Sheesh, it was tough. Cop needs to get off. Coppinger needs to get off these these social media streets, especially Twitter. Get off Twitter for a year.
I don't know what he was doing anyway, coming at him, but like,
real bad idea. Know your audience. That is
that was big thing that happened yesterday. Lazy bed. Just wanted to say I got my UFC Godfather merch in the mail. My cologne arrived yesterday. I have my UFC Ignite me on the microwave, and Friday date night's about to be a huge hit. I desperately want to buy the 3 UFC colognes and do a review of them. I don't know where we do it, but somewhere, because I have to know what those things smell like. I'm envisioning affliction in scent form, but I could be wrong, and I need to know. AK's face does not sound like he wants to know what those smells are.
Don't do this.
First 2 Three Ninjas movies are on Tubi. Don't miss them, boys.
Very important.
Shout out to Tubi.
I
don't know how Three Ninjas became such an integral part of our shows, but I love that it has, because what a film.
I got to pull up this line from the Luke rant.
No. The best was,
that was unbelievable.
If Max Kellerman is Howard Stern, then you're Beetlejuice.
That was the one, man. That was the line. Like, it just all the swearing, all that stuff was great. Like all the blue stuff was great, but that line was like, oh my god, there's no coming back from that.
Every part about it was brutal. Master of the Universe, Mike, Jed, and AK. Fun question. Name 3 fighters you think are underrated and underappreciated by the fans in the UFC right now. You cannot pick the same fighters.
Let's each pick one for the interest of time.
Jelton Almeida. Oh, sorry, he's not in the UFC anymore. Come back to me.
Jelton Almeida is not in the UFC.
I apologize.
I'll go with mine just because I don't think anybody talks about him, but I have always been charmed both personally and as a fighter by Arnold Allen. And I don't think people care or think about him, but
that's a really good pick. Yeah, for sure.
I think his YouTube channel is usually at least enjoyable. I like his sense of humor, and I very much appreciate the way he fights and think that he's a very good fighter. Not a great fighter, like he's sort of kind of that guy who's top 10, not really top 5, but I don't think people think about Arnold at all.
I thought you were going to say Carly Giudice, but I guess she's got a lot of buzz around her. I guess she's not in that.
No, I have driven that
into
popularity.
If anyone has made sure that people are talking about Carly Giudice, it is you. So that is off the list.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would have said Armin like a year ago, but now he's like...
He got all the juice now, yeah.
He's got all the juice now. So he's the man. Him and Giorgio are going to do it again. March 28th in Tampa, RF7. Very excited. Looks like I know what I'll be doing March 27th, 28th and change. Actually, we got some fun stuff being planned
in Tampa
for that week. Perhaps some swing rounds. I would say it's more than in the works, and I'll leave it at that.
We need to talk. Maybe I'll come down to Tampa.
Mileage may vary on how you feel about the guest in question, but we'll leave it at that.
Is it Mike Coppinger?
No,
that'd be amazing.
I wish it was.
I don't think the mileage is varying that anymore. I think it's pretty firm. The internet has made it.
Maybe the ghost of Mike Coppinger will be floating along.
Oh my gosh,
with us on the golf cart.
I love Nate Landwehr. I think Nate Landwehr. It's unfortunate because I think he just has been active as I'd like him to be. But boy, I feel like if he fought just one more time every year, he would be up in that like total fan favorite. Like people love this guy, and people who know Nate Landwehr love Nate Landwehr. But he's not at that level of like instant recognition for people yet. And
he seemed like he was on his way to getting that kind of like fan favorite juice, and it just sort of kind of stopped, like whatever the momentum. He lost a couple of fights, and I think that was sort of crashed it. Because I remember thinking like, Nate Landwehr's never going to win a championship, but maybe he becomes like one of those guys that people just kind of quietly love because he's always in bangers.
He is fighting Cub Swanson though, so let's roll, man. That's going to be
opportunity,
fun as hell. So it could maybe this is the year.
There's definitely, I think like everyone I would have said a year ago, I can't say for various reasons. Like Armin Aljo is kind of on fire right now because of the promo. I would have said Alexander Hernandez, but he, who knows what's going on with him at this point. So I will go.
It's true.
I'll go with only because I don't understand why he's not like more popular, because his personality is fantastic. I know his fighting style isn't the most desirable to watch, but when he's got a mic in front of him, he is freaking spectacularly funny. Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson is very, very funny.
He's too funny for MMA though. He doesn't have catchphrases. You know what I mean? Like you have to actually watch his interviews to like get it. Like, cause he is a funny guy. Like he is like a really funny guy.
Super funny guy.
Yeah. But he's not like punchy. He doesn't have like punchy stuff. So he's a sophisticated fight fans, promo.
Chat. Somebody in chat said Steve Garcia. I think that's a great call.
Love him. He just headlined a card though. Didn't he just headline against Onama? Come on, the guy's not.
This is an Apex card against David
Yeah.
Onama.
Everyone watched it.
Yeah, but see, he's not anymore because he got on the microphone and did the dumbest thing I've ever seen and called out Max Holloway for the BMF title. Like you literally could have called out any featherweight on earth. And now you have to sit there. You're gonna watch Kevin Vallejos, who like did the thing on the microphone, even though it wasn't great. He just he's like, well, if that didn't work, I'll just call it a bunch of other people. And people are like, yeah, we love this guy anyways. And now he's getting a main event against Josh Emmett, and then probably another big fight after that. Steve Garcia is gonna end up fighting like the 17th ranked dude, or maybe I don't know. Maybe he ends up getting a big fight. I don't know, but we'll see.
I also want to give love to Jan Blachowicz, who I think
that's a great shout.
I mean, I know he was a champion, but I think people still underrate, like, he's just impossible to fight. Everybody who ever fights him is like, this sucked, and I barely won.
The Bogdan Guskov fight, we had a lot of fun watching.
That was so much fun, man. That was so much fun. Cosmo Kramer, underdog, most likely to win this week. So,
not Cody.
Check out No Bets Barred. But I actually think and we talked about it a little bit yesterday, Mike, on BTL when we did our player draft for this weekend. I think every main card dog is live.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't personally think Charles Oliveira is live, but other people do. So I get that. But Bruno Ferreira is an underdog to RoboCop. The number has come down, but he's still an underdog. He won their first fight not that long ago. Drew Dober, Michael Johnson is almost a stone cold pick'em at this point in time. But Dober is technically the underdog in that fight. I think he obviously has a clear path to victory there. Rob Font, if he can stuff some takedowns, he's a live dog. Kyle Bahalio versus RDR. I mean, AK, you and I both picked RDR to win that fight. And then you look at some of the undercard stuff, and I think a few of those are live as well. I think Cody Garbrandt has the best chance of the Codys to win. Zhao Long would be the worst loss of his career by a large spot. I mean, if Tumen Dimbril wasn't Mongolia's greatest export, Durden could be live in that. I think a lot of dogs here are pretty live. If I'm having to pick one, I'm going to pick the one I'm picking to win outright. It's RDR, but I wouldn't fault you with backing almost any underdog other than Cody Brundage on Saturday.
And Charles.
Yeah.
I won't even fault you for backing Charles. I just don't agree. If you put your money behind Cody Brundage, you either know something or you don't care about your money. Only two options there.
For me, it'd be RDR or Font. I got a weird thing about Font too.
Yeah, Font is a tough out.
But I don't think I'm betting it. I will say this, just for full disclosure, guys. I'm just saying that to throw it out for conversation. I don't think I'm betting it, so I wouldn't recommend you either.
We'll throw another Cosmo question out there.
Will Kane fight in MMA again? I don't think so.
Nah.
But you can never say no.
Wasn't he retired before
He was.
that incident? Yeah, I can't imagine.
He was. But
Real American freestyle, though? That's another story.
Yeah, but I think he's getting back into coaching and maybe he'll feel the itch again, but I think it's unlikely. Will MMA F have boots on the ground for the White House?
That's a really good question.
Yes,
I'd be
Jose at the
shocked.
minimum will be at the White House.
But I
party.
mean,
Yeah,
what's the
we-
media coverage though? Like, what are they going to even?
I mean, I don't know if he'll
allow?
be
I think
on
it's
the
gonna
South
be-
Lawn because I
yeah.
don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
they'll
no,
allow
no,
media
no. But I
there.
mean,
But
before that, but pre-fight stuff, I guess would be
I'd
normal.
probably
You
at
think
like a
that's be
hotel
normal?
or something. Yeah, it'll
yeah,
probably
it'll
like a
be
normal
at
thing.
something nearby, I assume.
Mm.
I'll be shocked if Jose at the minimum is not there.
He'll be there. I would love to be there as well.
It's got to be a
I
zoo. It's an
try.
I'm
absolute
going
zoo.
to make a pitch to go. I don't want to go to it. I do think doing the lawn thing would be an interesting experience. But
I live in Canada. I'm just gonna say that, and I am not part of. We are not part of your country yet.
yet,
Knock on wood.
operative terms.
And let's keep it that way. So
Well, to be
I
fair,
will,
we're not focused on y'all right now. We've
we've
got other issues
There's
ahead
a
of
lot
us.
of stuff going on with you.
We were
guys.
looking real hard at y'all in Greenland, but
Oh my goodness,
we've been
man.
distracted by something else for now.
This is probably what will happen.
Kane will do RAF.
Yeah,
I think
that's what
that
I
this
said, yeah.
seems
Of
pretty
course.
likely.
Of
Yeah,
course.
There's a long-standing
Eric
relationship
Bischoff
with
is
Izzy
talking to him,
Martinez.
is texting him daily right now. Okay,
Bischoff
Kane
don't
has
worry
a-
about that.
yeah, Kane's known Izzy for a long time. Like that seems like that's a thing that. Yeah, that seems likely. Who's hosting the pre-fight show tomorrow? Mike Heck.
I'm back, baby.
He's back, and which good because I did it, but I wouldn't say I did it well.
You did it fine. There's just
We survived.
Yes.
We learned things.
We survived.
We
We
grew
learned
as
things.
people, and that's what's most important. It's about
Yes.
growing as people.
Right.
That sounds like our music. Am I mistaken? Does that
That is
sound
our
like
music.
Okay.
That is the music.
it's our music? The Big Arch Boys. As we leave, I want you to think about McDonald's and that poor CEO who's getting dunked on because I found that deeply funny this week. And I've really enjoyed everything else. I'm astonished we didn't talk about Eddie Hearn and Tom Aspinall, but maybe that's for the best. Or Francis Ngannou leaving PFL. But Mike, that means you can talk about it all tomorrow for the UFC 326 pre-fight preview show, whatever it's called. Pre-fight Q&A, that's it. It just took a minute to think of the answer. Whenever
Did a
that's
great
going live tomorrow. What time is that tomorrow?
4:15 p.m. Eastern time.
4:15 p.m. Eastern time. And then there will be a watch party. Mike, you're going to have to send me the location of the watch party. Send me location in the words
I
of
will.
Habib because I don't know where this watch party is, but it is happening tomorrow. So make sure you jump in with that. Use the new emotes. Maybe have a couple more by tomorrow. And then, of course, it's the same standard issue coverage we always got. There will be a post show. There will be event coverage from Jose Young, Boots on the Ground, aka me, Mike, everybody else on the team. There will be an on to the next one on
Yes,
on
of
Sunday,
course.
I believe.
Of course.
I gave
Live.
you guys your own emote. That's exciting. Live. So then they can even use the emotes on the live one. Hell yeah, friends forever, boys. And then we are on to. Does anyone know what next week's event is? Because I don't off the top
Apex.
of my head.
We're back to the
We're
world's
back
most
to
We're
the
famous
staying in
world's-
Vegas, baby. Staying in Vegas.
Back to the world's most meta Apex. For
This is Emma Vallejos, right?
this is Emmett Vallejos, and I don't remember if there's anything else going on that card, but that's a future us problem because for now we've got ceremonials in a minute, and we're gonna say goodbye. Love y'all. See you this weekend. Happy birthday, AK.
Feliz cumpleaños para ti.